Now, earlier today, I received this video. In fact, I received the video about 50 times in my inbox. I got a whole bunch of tags, but I was busy today on the road for the whole day. I didn't get a chance to watch it. So I just get a chance to sit back here and watch it, and I said, let me just watch it live, get a live reaction as to what's happening here. Now, I did get a chance to watch the first 2.5 minutes of the video. So I know there are some language that might not be suitable for children. Viewers' discretion is advised, right? And I'm also told that there's a lot of emotional content in the video, right? So I want to go through the video and see how we could get this information out there, see whatever needs to be done to help the young lady, and see if we could get this video in the inbox of people that could assist at this point in time, right? And so I want you guys to go through this with me, and let's listen to it and see how well we could get this information out there in the inbox of people that potentially could help in this situation. Let's take a look.
Yes, hello, I'm live. Good morning, Facebook. I know it has been a while since I have come on this media to say anything, but this morning I want to address my case, my matter, to the Commissioner of Police in our country, Grenada, and to anyone else that has been suffering the type of abuse that I have been suffering over the years under the system. Yesterday was the trial of my matter ongoing court that we had 3 years now. My 6-year-old daughter was assaulted up here in the bush by one of the other children in the area, a little boy. Some say he's 9, some say he's 10. So yesterday his mother and him in the courthouse, the prosecutioner, they said he was 9 years when the incident happened. Now my daughter was 6 years when the incident happened, now she is 9. So if he was 9 years when the incident happened, how can he be 11 years now?
Right. Well, yes, your math is right. The math is right. She was 6. He was 9. So she is 9 now and he's 11. So the math is right. All right, let's go ahead.
Well, they say he's in Farm 1. So the incident happened. He and all the other children, my children, all of them was playing in the bush. They said they went for sticks. I don't know what game they was playing. They went for sticks and he pushed his way. He put words to her, I guess. You could say, oh, he tell her, lie down on the ground and pull down she panty. And she did it. In his statement, he's saying he was looking forward and she started cock back whining on him.
What? Where they learn this thing from?
9-year-old or a 10-year-old child, imagine standing up in a courthouse and saying that a 6-year-old child pushed back whining on him. He also said he did not want the boys and them to give him tack or to make him feel bad or look bad so he go through. Is that chat you would hear from a 9 or a 10-year-old child speaking in a courtroom?
Let me tell you, things change and time real change, Dread. 9-year-old and 6-year-old getting involved. Well, I know from growing up, that's not something that I was privy to, but times change. Them kids and them now, they have all kind of social media access, unlimited. They have all kind of tablets and phones and everything. They have access to everything adults have. So it don't surprise me. It don't surprise me that a 9-year-old would have them kind of vice in their head and thing already. Because they're exposed to it, they have access to it. Sometimes unlimited access to all these things.
Alright. I remember when I went to the police station earlier on when the matter happened, just before I was arrested, when they was asking me what happened to give my statement, and they read his statement, they said, she tell him lie down and she sat down on him and whine. Now in the courthouse, his statement is saying that he stand up looking forward and she cock back and whining and him pull down her clothes. Now which of those statements there is true? I and an officer up here named Harris Collier had been in court. We was best of good friends. We was good friends when I newly came up here and stayed. Now I've been living up here 5 years now. 5 years. I lived over there next door to Harris for the first 2 years I was up here living. I used to go to him and talk. We was good friends at that time. Right after he asked me for woman and I turned him down, he tell me he understand my situation up here, having 4 children and living in a 1-bedroom apartment, and he and his woman and children living in a 2-bedroom apartment but housing, building a house for him. He tell me all I have to do is to give him a little, and when they go in, he go see that the place is mine. So I ask him if I will be getting documents to say the place is mine. He tell me, don't worry yourself about that man, me and the woman, we go handle it. I say, so how she go feel about you wanting to me? He tell me, don't worry man, I talked to her already, don't bother yourself, no man, just give me the thing. So I say, well, let me ask you, when you go in, I remember the month he told me that was December. He told me they leave in April in the next year. December came and it had gone, the April came and it had gone. Before the months came, and listening to hear what he had to say more on the matter, he was telling me, I just have to give him a little work, and he giving me the place when he going, thinking, no, I stupid, I have more sense than that. So when he told me that, I said to him, so how soon I think you tell me anytime I ready, just go ahead and give him. Since after that, I tell him, all right. Since after that, I never took any of that talk, continue with him and that stupidness. I made him see I bigger than that. I did not go down that road with him. I never had sex with him.
Is that's some kind of negotiation there, boy?
Little while after, he started putting words to me. I remember on one occasion I called him to talk to him about his son. I was in my kitchen sink cleaning and cutting up chicken. I called him to tell him I was bathing a day. The day was open and his son just came in and watched me peeping me in the bathroom and laugh. And when I called out to him, he run. Telling him that it what took place, he telling me, sorry, it was not him. He come and he just shoved his tongue in my mouth one time. I say, hey, what is that? What's stupidness? Why you doing? What you doing? He said, hush, don't make noise, not the human. I said, but you come in here and do that and you know you human home? He tell me don't create no bacchanal. You know he's sorry, he apologize, he won't do it again. After that, this man continue to cause horrors and problem for me. I used to clean the entire step of we building where we was living. In front his door, the next man door, my own, and I go straight out with the stuff. After a while, he passing while I'm cleaning, while I'm mopping, he walking, coming and dirty the floor. Try and talk to him about it, he did not listen in, he started to give me word. After that, he started packing up his vehicle downstairs while I'm in the veranda washing. He cursing and saying, throwing some water on the vehicle, and we start having bacchanal. 3 times since I've been living up here, I was arrested, and Harris is who would have called the police for me to be arrested. There was occasions that he said I was cursing him. He is the one that started the cursing. He cursed me and I cursed him back in my defense. But I still is who they would have come for and arrested. You understand? When I tried to plead my case, when neighbors saw the police came and they tell the police, look what was happening, the police did not care. I was arrested on one occasion in my 90. They did not ask me to go and talk to none of my children, tell them nothing. That time my children, all 4 of them was in school. Now my daughters graduate, my first 2 daughters, they out of school, they finish. But during that time, they was in school. All 4 of them. He didn't care. They didn't care who my children spend the night with that time, what happened to them. Imagine neighbors cursing. You call police for one neighbor after all the other neighbors that was gone. Only I alone that was arrested. Why?
Bacchanal in the neighborhood. And I want to know more about the Harris fella. And I'm sure that we will hear more about the Harris fella, but I want to understand more about that Harris fella.
That I alone should have been arrested. He said he giving me 10 charges. They arrested me in me 90. They don't tell my children nothing. They brought me down. They make all this stupidness, the scheme. When I went down there, I got to meet a female officer, and they asked her to escort me to where they was keeping me by the cell. No other occasion did I meet no female officer. All they told me is to go by the van, and I went by the van and thinking they coming to talk to me, and then they ordered me to get in the van, and I did. After they released me, they barely released me. I went to St. George's on the port and I made my report to one of the officers there that was in charge of the building. After making the report to him and tell him, look what happened, and he called Grenville to find out what was being said. Did you know they told, their statement was that they repeatedly tell me I was under arrest and I was resisting the arrest denied. I continue causing and giving trouble. They had to drag me to the van. Nonsense. He had neighbors there, nothing so was weak. They asked me repeatedly, tell me to go and tell my children they're going with me. They repeated me, asked me to go and change my clothes. Nothing so. I told him what they say is true. That is a fabricated story. I tell him, call them and have them come up to find out from the neighbors what took place. After I left down there and I came up, the day after, he called me and told me just what I said took place. That is what took place when he sent the officers up here to come and investigate. He told me he would call the Grenville magistrate and have the matter thrown out. Because what I said, what happened, that is just what happened, nothing what he said. He took me to court numerous occasions. He never came. Every time I had to go and waste time, leave my job, whatever, and he was never coming, waste that time. Now this is the same officer that during the incident with my daughter, after I would have gotten the news that little boy did what he did to my daughters, all the children in the place came up with my children and said, look what happened. I beat my children and make them go inside, and immediately I left to go and tell the boy mother, look what happened. When I got there, his mother was not home, he that was there. I knocked on the door, and he was not opening. I knocked harder on the door, and then he come out and speaking to me rude and telling me mother say had nothing to do with nobody, will tell nobody nothing, don't let nobody ask him anything. So after he tell me that, I get more angry. I realize he know what he do. So in my angriness, I break a peace whip in their yard on a tree by them and I beat him.
You did what? Oh, okay. Interesting.
After that same evening, Harris come out where he come out, hear what take place, he take the child and bring the child in the station. After I got the news that he took the child to the station, I took my 6-year-old daughter to the station too, to say, look what took place. Do you know I was sent back home with my 6-year-old daughter? Yes, we did not get no attendance. The police did not business, they did not care about me and my daughter. They sent us back. The morning again, after bathing her, dress her, get them ready for school, get them breakfast, I took her down to the Grenville police station. They still asked me to bring the child to school and bring her after school. Like the second time they returned me down. I took her to school. After school, the evening I took her back there. I said I was not paying attention. Nobody was bothering with me. I said, good evening, everybody sit down there. I took my child, I took a bus and I went to Maryborough with her. After doing that and I explained to the doctor, look what happened, he called the Grenville police station. After he called the station and tell him, look, I come up there with my daughter and look what I say happened, they lie into the doctor and tell him, they asked me to come back and I refused. The 3 occasions I went and nobody bothered or business with me and my daughter, but now they still saying they tell me come and I didn't. After I went there 3 times. Okay. Now my question is, if Harris is not causing those problems for us, why was it he that took the child to the police station? When I brought my daughter to get assistance to give this statement, nobody listened to her. I was arrested and charged. So yesterday, I was charged in the courthouse. I did try to bring forth my case with my daughter and what little boy would have tried to practice with her. They had Child Protection Authority, Social Services over the matter for the past 3 years it had been there. For months they had both children in counseling. I had to go and drop my daughter to counseling and collect her after. Some of them I allow my daughters to do it. And they had been in counseling. I was told by these people my daughter was not lying. There was no fault found in her. So if there was no fault found in her, what happens to my 6-year-old daughter? How nobody is being charged for what went at her, but I was being charged for beating him with the peace whip. When I beat him, I was caught. They said I called Sam to him. Now, Mr. Commissioner, I am saying to you, there is a lot of corruption in the police station in Grenville. I live next door to a neighbor presently. And she, every day when I clean, I heap up my stuff and I pick it up. If it is plenty, I put water, I dash it and wash it down. When she come and she doing it, she heaping everything come on to me. Everything. At one time I used to heap it back to her and back and forth. We end up fighting all these things on them. She saying he tell her same thing I was practicing. The same Harris tell her same thing I was practicing with him. Now if Mr. Harris had not been telling this lady anything to cause corruption on Bacchanal, would she have been saying that? You know, when we cause, she tell me, she write 2,000 to tell him she did not want me come here next door to her and stay. I live below bridges with my children. I live in dilapidated old house. I live in a house where I had to run in the night with my children. I put out myself. I went to the government and I get a place. Do you think I will look to do anything to jeopardize this house that me and my children living in that the government would have provided for them and me? Has anybody out there had my kind of experience? And my mother been drinking drunk daily. It was like a vagrant. I caught and drank on the street. I out of 9 of our children, the third eldest in all, had to woman up take care of my younger sibling. Now that I come and have children, I try so hard to provide a life for my children to see that they don't go through the struggles I would have had to as a child. And now all these incidents is happening and there is still nothing I as the mother could do to help and try to protect my own children. What is this? What is happening? I was charged $1,500 yesterday in the courthouse. The magistrate tell me I wouldn't like for anybody to abuse and beat up my children the way that I beat up that 9 or 10-year-old child. Now I am saying to you, I did not beat up anybody's child. I beat my children when they came home and said, look what was happening. And after beating them, I left to come and tell his mother, look what happened. And she not being there, and he gave me rudely. I broke a piece whip and beat him. Excuse me. Let me go and wash my hand and myself. Christy, I want tissue. Sorry for that. So now I am asking, what happens now that I am being charged $1,500 for causing harm to that little boy by beating him? What about the harm that he would have caused to my 6-year-old daughter, who is concerned about that, who is taking up that matter? So it seems that I am living in a place where the people around can do whatsoever to me and my children and nothing is being done. The law cannot do nothing to help protect my children and me. That's what is my plea, my cause. I want to know what happened. Why does this have to keep happening to my children and me? I am suffering too much and too long. Did you know that same officer Harris arrested my man when he went to St. George's to work? He was the guy taking information from Miss Ben's office down to the Prime Minister's office and back from the Prime Minister's office to Miss Ben. At that time, Officer Harris was in the SSU. He was one of the Prime Minister's bodyguard. A morning, my boyfriend told me he went down there, got the clearance downstairs as he normally does. Everything checked out and he was going upstairs to the office to drop off his info. Officer Harris was by the door, saw him coming and he called out to him, hey, you, get back down. You ain't getting through here today. You ain't getting through here today. He said he didn't want to believe he talked to, so he looked around to see if he had anybody. He don't see nobody, but he continued walking, knowing that he don't do him nothing. He said while he continued walking, Harris repeated himself. He said when he realized what Harris was up for and what he was doing to avoid trouble, he turned around and walked away. After he turned around and walking away, because he would have turned him away, he said Officer run, grab his pants waist, the belt in his pants waist and start to slam him on the wall and ask him where he going. He said somebody else was passing, so the person stand up and was looking at what was happening. He asked the person to help him arrest my man Matthew, to bring him downstairs to arrest him. My man said, the person said to him, the man, and do you not know? I don't see the man, do you not know what you arresting the man for? He said, he tell him go on about his business before he arrest him too. So the man leave and he go. When he brought down my man downstairs, my man said the man came downstairs, and when Harris went to the next officer there downstairs and telling that officer, call whether he CR, the CID, wherever, to arrest my man, and lying to say my man was trying to unbuckle his gun on his side. He said the man told the officer that is not what happened. Look what he saw. The man was walking, he didn't trouble him, and he that run and grab him and did whatever. He said the officer was reluctant to help him. He said Harris held my hand and held him by the side. He went and take the phone, he make a call and said my man tried to unbuckle his gun on him. 3 van load of police came up there, they arrested him and was planning to keep him there for the night. When I got the news, it was after 8 the night when Mr. Belfon from his main office in Grenville called me to say something happened in St. George's today. They don't know what it was, but all they understand is that my man was arrested. When he went to the ministry, they said they cannot give me information overnight, but we are going in the morning to see what took place. When around after 1 to the night, my man came home and asked him what happened. He said, look, Harris is who arrested him. Harris arrested my man in town. Watch, move. Lion telling them that my man tried to unbuckle his gun on him when there was cameras right around. The authorities investigated, and I don't know what took place. All of a sudden, he was no longer in the SSU. A couple months, weeks after, they would have let him go. I don't know what took place. Now, this is the same Harris that took the child to the station. The same Harris that had me arrested up here 3 times. The same Harris that is telling my neighbor things about me and causing confusion and conflict between I and her. I have nothing against the lady. As she has 3 children, 3 sons and 1 daughter. I respect that, and she brings them up. They are big children now. I myself have 4 children. And just how you see, I know my struggles and what I have suffered. I hear she pain when she and she man cursing, they fighting, children, everybody fighting. And I'm sorry and feel bad for her. I never wish anybody bad. I know I suffer a lot in life. I have found Christ and he has always been there with me. I try my best to make life for my children and me. Too much and too often, too much of these things keep happening. The people that are in authorities and power, they burden we, those that are not. They suffer so much. What I say here, there is no lie with it. What I have been struggling over the years, it has not been easy. Why should I know how to pay $1,500 a beating? Because I beat that boy. Yes, I beat him. I am sorry now. I regret. But at the same time, nobody's telling I beat my children also. Nobody concerned about it. They say I caused harm to him. His eyes was swollen. His face is swollen. He couldn't go to school. The day after the incident, I saw him in school. He went to school. My children went to the same school with him. Nothing took place to say he was hurt, badly damaged. He couldn't go nowhere. Nothing so. They say I box him up, whatever. I don't know if I might have boxed him. But even if I box him, would my hand be able to cause that kind of damage to darken and swell up his eyes and these things? I hope, Mr. Commissioner, all I'm asking you is for you to look into this court matter, see what has happened. I want somebody to stand against me, to stand up with me and my daughter. My daughter was 6 years when this incident happened. Now she's 9. They say that boy was 9 years and now he is 11. If the incident happened 3 years now, my daughter was 6, now she's 9. How 9 and 3 could give us 11? Is that making any sense? If, as they said, the evidence was not inclusive or conclusive, whatever, to the case, to say that whatever was said that he would have done or practiced with my daughter, I don't know how to put it, but something did took place between him and my daughter. What now is being said about that? I was told by the police they cannot charge him, he is a minor. You cannot charge him, he is a minor, for what he was trying to practice or what he did practice. But now how I be in charge, I have the child mother. Isn't my daughter a victim also? And she was the younger one. When I hear the prosecutor reading a statement yesterday in the Granville Magistrate Court and saying that he, that 9-year-old boy, say how my daughter cock back and whining back on him, and he afraid what them boys and them would have say, so he go through. That is not little children speaking, they're not little children talk. All of this fabricated story, people had put him up to it. I would like for you to open this case and investigate. If I have to pay the $1,500, I will pay it. Because I don't want my children to continue to suffer, but I want the suffering to over. I want all these problems that we have been having with all these neighbor and them that Harris putting people against us to stop. It is not right. I am a free citizen living in this country. Why do I have to suffer so more than others? What is happening? So it means anybody, anywhere could do whatever to my children and get away. The police is not going to do nothing about it. But if it is me now to do something or my children do it, then everybody coming down on me. Why do I have to? Mr. Commissioner, I want you to look into the matter. I want you to check out what I have said here today. Find out, go to the port, call the Granville police, and let them look up, let them investigate. I remember when I went to the community relations department and complained against Harris. Nothing came out of it. None of the cases I brought him up when he did and said things against me. What happened? I in the courthouse yesterday, how much policemen name being called? You ain't seen none. You ain't hear nothing happen. So when people bring up police for doing whatever, what take place with the police and that people? They are free doing the same thing over and over to much more of our people of the country. Lord, I live daily. I try to be a good mother to my parents. I do what I have to. I keep my place clean. I don't curse and disrespect people. I do what I have to. I stay in my zone. I'll walk against people, fight and strive and taking it from me. But I'm still there, I'm still hanging in here, me and my children, we still surviving and making it. But why does people steal nothing? I don't have nothing for nobody. Why am I suffering so? Lord, you say we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, spiritual wickedness in high places, and this is it big and plain. Up till now, no statement from my daughter was read in the Granville Court. Yesterday. The boy was present because they asked for he was to come. I was told if I don't plead guilty, I would make matters worse for me. And knowing yes that I did beat him with the peace whip, I pleaded guilty. So, plead guilty, I being charged for beating him, all this amount of money. And what is being charged for concerning what he would have tried to practice with my daughter, what he did to her, what happening with that?
There are a lot to unpack in this video here, guys. There's so much to unpack in this video here. So let's take it piece by piece. And I'm going to try to see how well we could put it into perspective, how I could put it into perspective. First and foremost, let's talk about the child. The child, they was going out to play. The young man was 9 years old. And the little girl was 6 years old. Yo, you see that kind of behaviors is what we've been seeing progressively increasing in the past couple years, where kids 9 years old have so much vice in their head because they have some unlimited access to all the kind of content that adults have access to. Unlimited access. They have the phones, they have the iPads, and some of them visiting porn sites. I ain't saying that that was the case here, but they just have all the same vices. More so than when we was growing up. We never have all this access. But they have access right now. Right? Unlimited access. So, kids these days are not the same kids from back in the days. Right? So for that child, for that 9-year-old boy, to feel that it's okay to push himself or have this type of conversation with a 6-year-old. He had to have seen it somewhere, right? I don't know where, but he had to have seen it somewhere. He had to have learned that type of behavior somewhere. Somehow he got into his consciousness, right? Whether through content that he's consuming or adults that he's around or things that he's seeing. Where he's seeing it, I don't know, right? So that's one thing that we need to put into perspective. That situation right there is something that we as parents, every single parent, need to be very cognizant of. The kind of information and a time frame, a time stamp in terms of how much information you allow your kids to consume, how much data you allow your kids and them to consume before you cut it off and say that is enough. Do you even know what your children are consuming? Right? So that's one thing. Secondly, she spoke about Harris, and I need to understand this Harris person a little bit more, because if this Harris person was a police officer, right, that's using his power and using the badge of the Royal Grenada Police Force for his benefit in this type of way, that's a big problem. And I'm sure there might be other people who would come out after this video and talk about this Harris character. I would want to speak to Officer Harris to kind of understand this a little bit more. I'm going to reserve what I have to say about the situation because I don't know, right? We're hearing this and watching this for the very first time. But if that is the case where the police officer was using his power and the badge, the power of the badge, you try to influence all these different things, right? That's a big problem. One of the other things that she spoke about is flogging that child with a whip. And she admitted to it. And I don't think that that was the right thing to do. I don't think that was the right approach to take. And we're talking about two separate things here. One, the incident that involving her daughter. And because the child was 9 years old at the time, he's not going to be treated, he's not going to be arrested as an adult in this particular case. They might give him counseling, or they might, whatever counseling, child counseling, juvenile therapy, but he's not going to serve jail time because he's a minor, he's 6 years, he's 9 years old, right? So we're talking about two different cases. One, the incident involving the child that seriously need to be looked into. And two, the incident where she beat the child. Now, it cannot be confuffled, Let's just break it apart. Now, one, if she beat the child and they charge her for abuse, then, yes, she in fact plead guilty to the case that she did hit the child. She might have slapped the child. She might have boxed the child. I don't know. I wasn't there. She said that, yes, she pled guilty for those things. Now, the court, rightfully so, could charge her for that crime because it's two separate incidents, right? Again, it's two separate incidents. They press the charges against her. She's now charged $1,500 for the incident of abusing that child. But you could see how that woman is frustrated, and I understand her frustration. Her frustration is everything is happening to her, and everybody's doing for her, and everybody's doing to her, and whatever she do to remedy any situation, she end up getting the shitty end of the stick. As in this situation right here. What happened to her daughter? So what? Her daughter's life don't matter? What her daughter went through doesn't matter? And she's clearly frustrated. And I could understand her frustration. I could understand her frustration. But still, we have to separate the two incidents. Now, again, we cannot look at the child as an adult in this situation right here. We could only look at the child as a child. He was a child when the incident happened, and he still is a child at this point in time. Counseling might be recommended, right? But it's a problem if the child is at this point in time and have this kind of utterances, have this kind of language, have this kind of behavior. It's a serious, and I think the court should take it very, very serious. At the same time, that doesn't dilute the situation of what she admitted to beating the child. She should have never done it. She should feel like her child life matter, her daughter life matter, and something should be done to help her child. She shouldn't be pushed aside. Her feelings and emotions shouldn't be pushed under the rug, because she's a mother and she cares about her child as well, right? So they need to take a serious look and remedy the situation for her, because she just feels like everything is happening to her. Everything is happening against her. How could she be charged and nobody else charged in the situation, right? So I could understand her frustration, and I think everybody could understand her frustration. I want you guys to comment at the bottom. Tell me what you feel, and how do you think that some of the situation could be remedied? From the child situation, from her daughter situation, from that Harris situation, from the court situation, and what could we do as a community to help so she don't feel like everything is just burdening her, everything is coming up against her. So comment in the bottom. I'm going to be reading the comment. I'm sure she might be reading the comment as well. But let me say it very clearly. I understand your frustration. I understand your anger. I understand your pain. I understand the tears that you cry, right? I understand what you're going through. And I think everybody who watches this video could understand as well. You are clearly frustrated because everything seems to be happening to you. And I understand, and we understand. Let me know what you guys think about this. Comment at the bottom.